can't see me, you Stevie. Wondering how I reach more evolutions than Evie and make it look easy.
What is up, Earth's mightiest subscribers? It's Blerd without fear. Welcome back to the channel. All right, today's video, I'm gonna be talking about Scarlet Witch Annual #1 by Steve Orlando and Carlos Nieto. This issue, the thing that I really wanted to focus on is that the power of the Scarlet Witch, well, I've talked about before, is on levels we have never seen before. Scarlet Witch, Wanda Maximoff herself, is now in a position of power that no one else in the Marvel Comics universe can touch, especially from a magic perspective. She has proven time and time again her reality warping capabilities, despite the fact that originally, almost 20 years ago, she could not control on any level whatsoever, that they seem so wild and random. She now has such precision that she's able to trick entire demons into believing that she's having a full-on fight with them. Meanwhile, they're trapped in a jar. She's been able to handily lay down multiple threats simultaneously without even so much as really even lifting a finger. Her power is so absolute that honestly, she might just be the most dangerous woman in the universe. And I would even go as far as to say, just saying she's the most dangerous woman in the universe is actually not even doing her that much credit. I feel like she is just in general one of, if not the most dangerous people in Marvel Comics, period, when it comes to power. And the reason I say that is not just because she has gained so much control over her capabilities, and I don't even think that any of this is a bad thing, mind you. I think this is all great for Wanda Maximoff, because for the longest time, for almost her entire publication history, going all the way back to her first appearance in X-Men #4 back in 1964, and if you haven't done the math, that is almost 60 years ago, her character has always been victimized and never really treated like a true, credible superhero, except for every once in a while. And then she gets treated as a pariah because her power becomes too great, she can't control it for one reason or another, and she winds up doing something that pisses off everybody. And for the first time ever, she truly has control. But the reason why I say that she is the most dangerous she's ever been is because if you have not been keeping up with what has been going on with Wanda Maximoff over the last year or so, one thing that has changed about Wanda that is incredibly reckless on her part is that during Steve Orlando's Darkhold Omega, Wanda had absorbed not only the Darkhold, the dark book of magic and spells and chaos that was created by the god of chaos himself, Chthon, but she also absorbed Chthon into herself. Right now, both the Darkhold and Chthon are a part of Wanda Maximoff, and she has buried them deep down within herself, and she wields not only her power, but the power of the Darkhold itself. This is in no small way responsible for Wanda's huge power buff as of late, but Wanda has also proven that she is very responsible in how she uses her power these days, making sure other people don't use their power in very reckless ways. We've seen this with one of the more recent characters introduced in the last 3 or 4 years, the character of Star, who had become a living reality stone, trying to help her understand why just willy-nilly reality warping all the time is not a wise decision. But there's one person in the Marvel Comics universe who doesn't believe that Wanda is up to the task of maintaining and controlling the Darkhold and Chthon, and that is Agatha Harkness. Now, Agatha Harkness has been through a lot as of late as well. For those of you who are only familiar with Agatha Harkness through the comics, and you wonder why she looks so young nowadays when originally she looked like a much older woman, a woman who was probably very likely in her 70s at the very least, a lot has changed, and Marvel has updated Agatha to look more in line with her MCU counterpart, Kathryn Hahn, at least from an appearance standpoint. For the longest time, Agatha Harkness was, for the most part, more of a caregiver, mentor, and watchful eye over the events of things that took place in the Marvel Comics universe, lending her help to people like the Fantastic Four or the Avengers. And she also acted as a teacher to Wanda Maximoff in the arena of the mystic arts, which is one of the key reasons why Wanda is so skilled in magic. Now, I just technically gave you a IRL reason as to why Agatha Harkness was changed and turned back to look younger than she has looked for quite some time. The actual canon reason as to why Agatha Harkness looks younger now is because of events that took place during Ethan Sachs and Luigi Zagaria's Midnight Suns miniseries. This was a 5-part miniseries where Agatha Harkness was working alongside the Strange Academy to take down one of her former coven sisters, Karina, who had become Corrosion. After Karina was abducted by the original Corrosion, she had become twisted and overtaken by that demonic force's power. And during the battle with Corrosion, she had stolen the power, or at least a portion of the power that Karina had possessed. And in taking this power, she has seemingly used it to turn herself back into the more youthful version of herself. Magic in the Marvel Comics universe is very tricky, and if you could imagine a dark power, a dark entity having taken control of one of Agatha's coven sisters and manipulating and corrupting her, and literally this being's name is Corrosion, you would probably not find it hard to believe that Corrosion, with Agatha having taken at least some of its power, that even as powerful as Agatha Harkness is, maybe she could become corrupted as well. Now, granted, when she takes this power from Karina, one of the first things she mentions is that she's the only person responsible enough to have this level of power in the first place. But something tells me that that might not entirely be the case, because since Midnight Suns, Agatha has not revealed to the Midnight Suns and the Strange Academy that she's even back. When she shows up at the end of the Midnight Suns 5-issue miniseries, when she returns as a more youthful person, the Midnight Suns and the Strange Academy have no idea that she's even back. They don't even know if she's really dead or not. And when she returns, she is striking a very ominous guise. And in this issue of Scarlet Witch Annual #1, she is doing something very similar. While she is window dressing a lot of her intentions as trying to make sure that Wanda Maximoff is actually prepared and ready to be able to hold back Chthon and the Darkhold. The truth is, that's not entirely why she's there. Yes, Agatha is trying to make Scarlet Witch prove herself that she is able to hold on to Chthon and the Darkhold without fail, to be the shield between the rest of the world and Chthon should he ever try to get free. That is not what Agatha Harkness cares about. There's an upcoming Marvel Comics crossover event called Contest of Chaos, which is kind of a play on the Contest of Champions, where Agatha Harkness seems to be the key and central villain. And one of the key things that was brought up when this series was announced is that she's gonna be fostering the creation of a new Darkhold, as well as trying to corrupt some of the Marvel Comics universe's greatest heroes. Now, whether or not any of that actually holds any water is another story, but it does kind of go back to my theory about the fact that maybe Agatha Harkness has become the new Corrosion. Granted, we know that Karina is still technically Corrosion. It's heavily implied that she's far weaker as Corrosion as she originally was. Maybe Corrosion really is actually piggybacking off of Agatha Harkness, because all of this just kind of seems off-brand for Agatha, at least as far as like the comics iteration of Agatha Harkness. This would be very much in line with the MCU's version of Agatha Harkness, 100%. But that said, Agatha pulls what I feel is probably one of the slickest one-woman Ocean's 11 operations you'll probably ever see, because as I mentioned earlier, Wanda Maximoff is incredibly powerful now. She has proven that she is able to wage occult warfare across multiple dimensions, as well as instantaneously cure herself of a brood infection, all within the span of a millisecond. We witnessed Scarlet Witch and Agatha Harkness wage war against one another across multiple realities and dimensions in the time it took Darcy to take a breath between two separate words. All of this has happened. And while Wanda seems to be of the belief that she has proven to Agatha that she is more than up to the task of protecting the Darkhold and keeping Chthon from ever breaching into the prime material plane, none of that was Agatha's concern. What she wanted was the heart of Chthon, and in the time that Wanda was dealing with the Brood infection, as well as battling against Agatha across multiple dimensions, the thing Wanda never noticed is that Agatha herself had slipped into Wanda's mind, bored deep into the recesses of her psyche and her soul, and found where Chthon was buried. And not only has she found Chthon, but she has seemingly killed Chthon inside of Wanda Maximoff. And not only has she killed him, but she's taken Chthon's heart. Now, this would likely explain how Agatha is going to become so powerful that she's going to be able to warp reality and try and create a new Darkhold. And on top of all that, would also explain why she's probably becoming incredibly evil in Contest of Chaos, because once again, it already kind of seemed like she was corrupted by evil power, but it also seems like this, having the heart of Chthon, if having Chthon inside of you in general would make you turn evil, or just wielding his Darkhold, which is literally created from his own flesh and being, if any of those two things individually would corrupt you, I would imagine having his heart would probably be just as bad, if not worse. So if you're wondering why Agatha Harkness is evil now, there you have it. If you enjoyed this video, do the YouTube thing, like, share, comment, subscribe, and make sure you tap that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of the videos that I put out. I'm pushing for 100,000 subscribers in 2023. So if you enjoy the content I'm putting out, do me a favor and hit that big red button. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. And until next time, let me know what you thought about Scarlet Witch Annual #1. Keep it plus ultra and sound off in the comments.